Hi, it's Miss Pritzel in the library, and I am going to talk a book called Heroine. So the heroine there, where we cover up the H. There you go. It actually it doesn't work any of the ways. Is the female version of a hero. So, some people would say so Wonder Woman could be called a hero or a heroine. Well, I'm sure you know another word that is spelt nearly the same, and if you look at the way that you might be able to predict what the book's about. So this is by Mindy McGinnis. We cover up the N there. Mindy McGinnis also wrote The Initial Insult, which is why I decided to read some of her other books. So The Initial Insult is more like a suspense thriller with, I guess, a mystery too. This is not. This is most definitely realistic fiction, but I like realistic fiction. And she even starts it out with saying this has graphic depictions of drug use. And I've seen that more and more and more, these cautionary notes warning people what's in the book, just in case people weren't aware by reading the little blurbs here. So if you like realistic fiction and you like kind of problem fiction, this would be a good choice for you. And actually, I went to go read it because I was reading it over the weekend, but I had to borrow it from North because how dare somebody check out our library's copy? All right, so the girl in this is the catcher on this small town, but they're really the poor school. They're not the big private school, the wealthy private school. But they have this amazing softball team, and it's her senior year, and she's best friends with the catcher. Or no, she's the catcher. She's best friends with the pitcher. So it's got a sports theme going on too, but they're in a car accident before, and literally her leg was torn out of its socket. And so she's in a lot of pain, and she's desperate to also make sure that she's ready because she's worried about getting a scholarship. She's worried about her friend, and because there's how good a pitcher is can sometimes depend on the catcher. And she doesn't want to let her friend down. She doesn't want to let her team down. This is her last year. This is huge to her. And it starts out with being prescribed opioids for the pain. And as happens with many people in that situation who are prescribed opiates for the pain, they become addicted to the opioids. And then, and I learned something during this book, the chemical structure of opioids is really close to the chemical structure of actual heroin. But heroin's a lot cheaper, so that's where she ends up. And I think, people would say, why read a book when you kind of know what it's going to end? Well, number one, I haven't told you the ending. I've told you kind of the gist of things. But it's reading this, yes, you are you've become addicted, but she's in her head. She's not. This is just this. This is just this. And even when she's fully healed and the doctor's complimenting her, and she's suddenly this realization oh, so I no longer have an excuse to be using. And that's kind of a revelation to her, but doesn't necessarily mean she stops. It's like I said, I liked it because they talk about, there's a saying about books are windows, and it's very true, especially for me. I hope I never know what it's like to be in her situation, but I wouldn't know what it feels like to be in that situation if I didn't read books like this. So, like I said, I was kind of interested. A lot of authors stick to the same genre, if they do fantasy or sci-fi, they stick to that. But Mindy McGinnis has really mixed it up. Some of her books are thrillers, some of her books are realistic fiction, and this was a really good realistic fiction book. But it might be a hard read for some people. And once again, we all have our different tastes, and I have to say I kind of like novels that make me cry a little bit. So if you are like me in that respect, I think you would like this. And it's, like I said, it's a good way to help you understand how people can, if people talk about the opioid epidemic and there are times when I'm like, well, why can't they just stop? This book helps me understand addictions, can come on pretty easy. And like I said, she became addicted because of a legal medical prescription to opioids. So, all right. So, like I said, our copy is checked out, but I'm going to be returning this copy to North, so you can interlibrary loan it if you're interested in this book, or I will help you find something else that you will enjoy. Have a fantastic day and keep on reading.